This is Tim Hilden with the CU Sports Medicine and Performance Center, here to talk with you today about patellofemoral pain and some of the exercises you can be performing at home to help you get back to activity. Now, patellofemoral conditions in general have a consistent pattern in which they behave with both activities as well as positions. The activities typically involve getting up from a chair, squatting down to get something, walking down stairs or hillsides, and the positions typically include a prolonged knee bent position, such as sitting in a movie theater or in a car on a prolonged ride. Now, while the load under those static positions may be low, the prolonged duration of the load is what causes the pain. A key concept to the exercises that we'll be talking about, as well as the modification of activities that you're currently performing, will be the relative position of the knee and the ankle. When the knee moves in front of the ankle, you will get an increased compressive load of that kneecap into the end of the femur, causing an increased potential for pain. Thus, the reason why walking down a set of stairs will hurt more than coming up a set of stairs. Now, while I had said that patellofemoral conditions are very consistent in how they behave, they can vary with regard to the position of the knee that tends to hurt more. And this is because the back of the patella has different contacting surfaces, and thus the location of injury or irritation on the back of that patella dictates what knee position is going to bother you most. So let's apply these concepts to exercises. With all the exercises, we'll be focusing on that knee to ankle position. And while yes, real life includes doing those positions or moving through those positions all the time, with rehab, when symptoms are irritated, we'll be wanting to optimize healing by avoiding those positions until tolerant. Now, one of the most universally tolerant exercises is cycling. Whether stationary or outside, the mechanical concepts pervade both. Two bike fit principles that really matter with the way in which you match up to the bike when you've got patellofemoral pain are seat height and fore-aft positioning of the saddle. With seat height, it should be that when the pedal is in the downstroke position, the knee should be barely bent. Now, I know this may not be your normal riding position, but again, we're changing mechanical alignment when the patellofemoral joint is painful to help optimize healing, calm things down, avoid irritation, and get you back to your normal cycling. Now, with regard to fore-aft positioning of the seat, what you want to try to attain is a position generally such that when the crank arms are in a horizontal position like this, if you were to drop a line off the front of the patella, that line should drop down through about the middle of that pedal spindle. If when you're in this position, the knee is in front of that pedal spindle, a lot more compressive load of that patella into the femur. So you can either move the seat back on the rails if you have that option, or simply move back on the seat to create that relative position. Obviously, load and duration are going to be completely dependent upon symptom provocation. The first exercise that I want to talk about outside the bike is just a two-legged squat. This exercise in the beginning is more to develop a habit than to actually create a heavy resisted load for strengthening. And the habit I want you to get good at is this relative knee not moving in front of the ankle position. When you'll stand in a wider than normal position, because it's easier to move through the squat there than it is here. Then what you're going to do is focus on the knees hinging and the hips moving back and the torso moving forward like this, as opposed to the hips staying stationary and the knees jutting forward, which again creates an increased compressive load of the patellofemoral joint and causes irritation. If any of you have been well-intendedly trying to get strong and you've been doing, one-legged squats like this, high odds that this position has been bothering you. The better way to do this would be to come back with the hips like this and prevent that knee from driving forward. We'll talk about an exercise in a little bit that allows you to get into that knee not moving in front of the ankle, but putting more of the load on one leg versus two legs. Now, an exercise that's easy to do pretty much anywhere, anytime, is a modification of the old wall squat or wall sit exercise, but actually not doing either. So you'll get into a position, feet maybe a good 1.5 to 2 feet away from whatever you're leaning up against, come down into whatever position is yet tolerant. If that causes pain, come up out of it. The small of your low back or your belt line will just move away from the wall, the door jamb, whatever you're next to, just so it clears. It doesn't have to be further. And then you'll be contacting somewhere in your torso here. What I want you to do now is just small little oscillations, eventually creating more of that end of a ski day thigh burn or quad burn. And what you're going to be doing is actually moving the skin between you and the wall or you and the door jamb, and not actually moving enough to create noise of your shirt rubbing on the wall. So it should just be the small little oscillatory motion. Now, if you want to up the ante and get more one-legged challenge, you can do what's called a vertical lunge. A regular lunge, when you are allowed to move forward like this in a walking fashion, violates that knee in front of the ankle concept. So what you're going to do is have a starting position, this, where as you came down, you'd be at about a 90 position here. But you'll start, lean forward as if you're holding on to a couple dumbbells, and then just come straight down. When I come down, I should never allow the lower leg to advance forward of vertical. It can draw back towards me. It just can't move forward. And the torso should be leaning forward so the arms hang about in line with the lower leg, like this. If you're feeling it on the front of the thigh of the trailing leg, you're either too far up or trailing too far back. Another way to increase the challenge, but not get into trouble with the patellofemoral joint. Now, this can be done with TheraBand on the backside of a door, just attaching the doorknob, or any sport cord, whatever resistance you have. Getting into, well, we'll do this, getting into a split stance position, kind of like your best telemark landing, and then bring that load down a little bit. Either two arm or one arm, you just simply create a load that's trying to pull you off to the side, and that hip musculature has to hold you stable while you're in a partial squat position. Again, knee not moving forward of ankle, so you don't create that inappropriate patellofemoral compressive load. Now, be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest videos, and if you have a need to schedule an appointment after our clinic opens, call 303-315-9917. Thank you.